Time of year is still optional for players, but D-Hop was on the field for the first day of work. See what they can accomplish now joining forces with quarterback Lamar. So all eyes will be on first and second round picks Malachi Starks and Mike Green this week.
He's had declining metrics the last couple of years. He struggled to stand out. Last season, my viewpoint is like when a player starts to show signs of decline, you should believe them.
Actually, like just from experience, I think they tend to get a little bit of a kick out of me just because I am 40 years old now.
Make sure to subscribe. Thanks. Now back to work.
Hey, what it do, man? Check it out. Look, it's your boy, Mr. 1%, and we back right here on the 1% Network. And we got some news, man, coming down from the NFL today, right? OTAs, what's going on, what teams are doing what, new players, new teams, situational, what's going on, right? So we're going to get right into it. We got a legend, man, right? And I think this guy definitely should be in the Hall of Fame, you know, in that conversation once he's all said and done, once he call it quits, right? But we got DeAndre Hopkins, man. He made a post himself actually on Instagram, highlighting, they think I'm old, they think I'm slow, and he showed a few clips of him in OTAs, running some routes, doing some drills, catching some passes, man. And they saying he looking good right now. So the word is that DeAndre Hopkins is actually looking really, really impressive in OTAs for the Baltimore Ravens right now. According to Ravens head coach John Harbaugh, he says DeAndre Hopkins is moving great, man. He brings great experience to the team. He's played in big games. He's made big plays. He knows what to do, in tight situations. And he thought that him and Lamar Jackson looks great out there at practice right now. And, we've been wanting to see the Ravens and Lamar Jackson get to that Super Bowl for a long time. Hopefully this is the missing piece, between him and that big running back they got over there. We've been wanting to see Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens not only make it to the Super Bowl, man, but bring one back home. It's hard. It's hard in the NFL right now going against Patty Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, everything that they doing. They always expected to be in the Super Bowl shit. I feel like the last 10 years. But, shout out to Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson. But, hopefully, man, DeAndre Hopkins is that missing piece, help this trio, combine that thing up and go make some plays that we've been waiting to see, man, waiting to see these guys make it and play on that level. And they always play really well, make it into the playoffs, then things end up happening. But hopefully DeAndre Hopkins can be the addition that they need to change that. And some might look at DeAndre Hopkins' production from last season and say that it has declined, but everybody gets older, lose a step or two. But right now they're saying the guy didn't actually lose a step or two. Maybe it was just the system he was in. And we know that's a great system over there with Kansas City, but sometimes it doesn't fit, the player. And hopefully, like you say, this situation right here, him going to play with Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. And we know the Ravens always have a nice defense, from all time since their first year coming into the NFL. They've been producing, especially on that defensive side of the ball. So I think this would be exciting, man. And that's what we got coming in for OTAs for the Baltimore Ravens. Now, this was another big topic in the offseason, man. George Pickens leaving the Pittsburgh Steelers, going down to Dallas, joining the Cowboys, man. And he's already making an impression down there. Fans are going crazy on the Twitter. He had a great catch. They didn't show the whole clip. You didn't get to see the catch. You just got to see the freeze frame, got to see the picture of him, catching the ball in the air. Looking good. Look, we can throw that up. You get to see him looking good right here. But everybody's excited about George Pickens and OTAs and how they're doing, what they're looking forward to. Everybody's looking forward to George Pickens, man, seeing what he can do. We know he's an explosive player. I don't think he really had the best quarterback situation up there in Pittsburgh. They had some young guys that he came in with. Things just didn't work out there. But going down to Dallas, having Dak throw you the ball, a little more experience, than having CeeDee Lamb on the other side of the field, that could be great, for all parties involved, right? Especially CeeDee and my boy George Pickens, right? They're both aggressive receivers, can go up and make the big play, jump catch on the ball, you know, a deep ball threat, you know, good in and out the breaks, so, you know, can take one to the house. So it's exciting to see what this Dallas offense can do. You know, primarily you've known Dallas kind of to be a more of a running team. You know, they've always had, you know, the CeeDee Lambs, the Michael Irvins, the Dez Bryants. You know, it was always legendary receivers, but I don't think it was ever a 1-2 punch like this one has the possibility of being, right, looking forward. So we're excited to see the Dallas Cowboys, like I say, George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb. Can that be the new number 1 and 2 punch in the NFL, man? Let me know what you think about that. Drop that down in the comments for me. Who do you think will be the most successful out of this trade situation going on right here? We got DeAndre Hopkins, right, Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, or you got Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and George Pickens down there in Dallas, right? We're going to just put that situation up against each other right now, see what y'all think. Let us know in the comments, man. But that's what it's looking like for Dallas down there in their OTA situations right now. George Pickens looking good. They're not showing too much. I wouldn't show too much either if I was them. Everybody's watching. Everybody got NFL Network, so keep it low as possible. Still drop enough to keep the fans happy, right? Because everybody want to see what's going on. We all nosy. But at the same time, you know, they got scouts and paying people to study you guys, so don't give out too much right now, because you could definitely be a surprise to the NFL with that 1-2 punch, man. Shout out to the Cowboys. All right, man, so look, check it out. Last but not least, we're going into the Cleveland Browns OTAs, man. What's going on? Everybody's excited to see what's happening with Shedeur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel. Those guys are in a great quarterback battle. But we can't forget about, you know, the OGs, right? We cannot forget about Joe Flacco up there leading that quarterback room, and then Kenny Pickett as well. You know, had some play time, you know, made some plays, also made some mistakes. But it's a really good QB room up there right now, and they're battling it out. They put out the numbers, you know, throughout the OTAs of who threw the most touchdowns, who threw the most interceptions. And I honestly think it was balanced, you know, in different periods. You might have had guys, you know, more successful than others, you know, maybe 1-on-1s to 7-on-7 to actual team period of football. But overall, Joe Flacco is definitely the leader of that quarterback room right now. It's going to be hard to play for the Cleveland Browns. It's always hard to play for the Cleveland Browns. But like I said, I think Joe Flacco, you know, has done it before, you know, won some games on big levels, you know, was traded, you know, to new teams, came in there, lit up the scene, you know, for being an older quarterback. And now I think it's a perfect situation, you know, for him to lead Dylan Gabriel, Shedeur, and Kenny Pickett as well, you know, being able to sit back and learn from someone. And I think guys, I don't want to say overestimate themselves, but don't understand how precious it is, you know, or how important it is to have an example in front of you that's won games and done it on a big level, you know, so you can learn, you know, correct all his mistakes, you know, should get in there, have your notepad whenever he's talking, and learn how to be a teammate, man, and learn how to be a better quarterback, you know, like I said, from Joe Flacco. And I did see a couple comments, him saying that he enjoys it, you know, him being the older guy in the room, probably could be old enough to be, you know, some of the younger guys' dad, but it's exciting for him to be able to lead and, you know, be a role model for those guys, and, you know, and watching them on their journey and how their future unfolds as a quarterback. So that's what's going on, man, in the Cleveland Browns OTAs, man. Everything is looking good. Actually, it's looking like a really good quarterback battle. Everybody's excited throwing the ball. We'll get more into it as camp comes around over the summer, but that's it for right now, man. Shout out to the Cleveland Browns. All right, so look, we're going to wrap it up, man. We're going to try to get into 2-3 teams a day, just checking out some OTAs, getting on NFL Network, checking out the Twitter, seeing the fan talk. Let us know what you think, you know, who you want to see this season. Please drop a comment, hit that like button, share, whatever you got to do if you're a football person. If you're not a football person, just get this out for us. Hit that like button, man. Thank you.
3, 2, 1.